Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, and if you hear any squeaking over the next couple of minutes like that, that's because there's a sausage chewing on a toy right next to me.
There you go. So sausage chewing, indeed. So before
Yep.
we get started,
There's a chew toy.
you want to know something funny?
I like funny things.
So Ethan, on a live stream, made a joke about me being a human shield.
Yeah, because you're
Huge.
fucking massive.
Yeah.
Literally, I can stand behind you and be pretty much perfectly concealed. And I'm not really a small dude either. I'm like 6 feet.
Yeah.
I could stand behind Micah and be perfectly concealed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I got the Thicc Boi status. But some people in anti-Comicsgate actually thought that Ethan was like throwing me under the bus. So he actually had to clarify the next day. He's like, "No,
What?
it's just a joke." He's like, I bust Micah's balls all the time, and he does, and I bust his too. So he's like, he's still my friend. Like, no.
That's anybody who's watched any of his live streams would know that.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
joke. Like, Kick Micah is a joke. And I lean into it. It's hilarious, some of the stuff that I do that just gets me kicked from streams. He always brings me back. So, but some people are like, "Oh, he's now out of Comicsgate." People can't kick you out of Comicsgate. That's not how it works. But it did bring into question my Thicc Boi status. So, because somebody literally asked for my measurements. Here we go. And I actually wrote them out on Twitter. I am 6 feet 2 inches tall. If I'm wearing my boots, I'm actually 6'4". I have a 20-inch neck. So my neck is just like 4 inches short of being 2 feet around. I have a 54-inch chest.
Jesus Christ, that makes suit shopping difficult.
Yes. Well, especially when you hear my waist size. My waist is 42 inches. But that's measured around my hips. Yeah. So my chest is a whole foot longer in circumference than my waist.
You said 54?
54 and 42.
42. That's 42 is my jacket size.
Yeah. 42, by the way, has always been my waist. Even at my slimmest, it's still 42. That's pressing on my hip bones.
I hope THICC Micah becomes a meme after
Yeah.
this.
Well, and here's what's crazy. Like, I remember I measured my thigh on a live stream once, and I actually like pulled my shorts up so you could see my boxers, but then I slapped it. There was no give, and people were like, "Holy shit!" So,
Oh my god.
yeah, so yeah, I measure my waist around my hips, not around my belly. Because my belly would probably be about like 50 inches. Because I'm very chubby now. But yeah, 42-inch waist around my hips. 78-inch wingspan.
Holy shit.
People wonder why I'm a good boxer. That's a big part of it. I have a very long reach. I wear a size 14 shoe. And my hands, from the tip of my pinky to the tip of my thumb, are 8 3/4 inches.
Yeah.
So about as long as my dick. So yes, like Thicc Boi status confirmed. And I was talking with Optimus behind the scenes after that. We were talking like, because there are always inquiries about how thick Micah is, So there's this video going around of this 5'9" Russian dude who knocks people out with slaps.
Mm-hmm.
And there's part of him overturning a truck tire that weighs probably about 500 pounds, and he gets it up with struggle. Those are my
I think
reps.
that's the video that we watched.
Yeah.
Well,
that
was
that
one
tire,
that we reacted to.
Those are my reps with tire flipping. Is about a 500-pound tire. My deadlift is 700 pounds, which is double my body weight. You know, I throw around 35-pound dumbbells like they're nothing. Like, so I'm a huge human. So, yeah. There's a reason that I fucking make fun of, like, people who are smaller than me and talk a ton of shit. I could literally eat them. And as Hatman could attest because he's seen it, whenever I work out, I'm throwing around the weight of human beings.
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
My bench press reps that I'll usually do are like they're somewhere around like 145, 150 pounds. And I'll do 4 sets of 10. And then, which isn't that impressive. I'm not a big bench press guy. Mm-hmm. But, and then if I'm using just my dumbbells, because that's only 70, I'll do double that. But do it because they're dumbbell presses, they're actually harder to do because you have to control the weight. But, like my lateral pull downs, and that's what Hatman caught me doing. I was doing, I was on my 4th set of 150 pounds at 10 reps each. And I remember one time we mentioned that on a live stream, and people were like, but I weigh 150 pounds. Yeah. You are a puny human. So to close that part out, in Comicsgate, you might have an army, but we have a Micah. But that's why I think Vanilla Grodd is a good nickname for me.
Vanilla Grodd. That is pretty good.
Anyway, we also have something else to let you guys who are Inglewood backers and people who are looking forward to 3 Nights 4 Days. We're going to be sending out a couple things for you. If you check Twitter is where I'm going to be sending one of these. The other one is going to just go back, be part of an update for Inglewood. Some of you guys have noticed, like, for the last year, the background on one of my PCs, my gaming PC specifically, has been the cover to Inglewood. Well, we are going to send that out so you guys can have it as a wallpaper too. It will not have the Sleeveless Comics logo on it, but it will be the exact cover. So let me actually show it off to you guys.
That's going to be a full-on backer update, as opposed to the last set of emails that went out that had your preview PDF in there. By the way, if you still haven't gotten those emails, let us know so we can get those to you, because I had at least one person say, "Hey, I didn't get the email because I used an old one to back the campaign, and that's where we sent the PDFs to." So we just want to make sure y'all get them. Obviously, we couldn't do it in a public update because then everyone would get access to it, and that was just for you guys. So we had to have a measure of privacy there.
Yep. And then one thing that I just whipped together is another wallpaper. I'll be putting it on Twitter for people who are interested in 3 Nights 4 Days. Simple little wallpaper. The logo here is done by Bob Stone, who is going to be the artist on Project Lazarus. He's been working with me behind the scenes on designs for the characters. And, of course, the cover itself, this is the Virgin cover, that is done by Preston Acevedo, who is an incredible artist, and Oliver Lee Arce, who is my colorist on the book, too. So, phenomenal work from both guys. I'm going to be sending that out so people can look at it. It is it's a beautiful cover, and I'm like, this needs to be people's wallpapers, you know? So, yeah. And this logo, I am so confident we're going to hit $25,000 and hire Vinny Tartamella to do the alternate cover that I went ahead and had this logo done ahead of time. So thank
And
you to
it
Bob
looks so
Stone for
good.
that. I know I paid him,
It
but I'm going
looks
to
so
thank him
good.
anyway.
Yes. You didn't pay him in thanks.
No, I paid him in dollary dues. So
American dollar dues, if you will.
exactly. No monopoly money here, folks.
Nope. No Bitcoin either. Happy halvening, by the way, or halvening, or however you supposed to say that. Whatever. I mean, I was just having an argument today over how to pronounce pecan. Is it pecan, or pecking?
Well, not pecking. We're talking about pecans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just pecan, or if you're from the South, pecan.
See, I said pecan, not pecan.
Well, whatever.
But
Like
I will.
long
I'll
E.
switch to. I'll switch to pecan too. So I'm weird. I'm
Yeah.
very weird.
Well, it's kind of expected that Southerners just pronounce things differently because of the accent.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Though I will say, it is pronounced caramel, not caramel. Reading the word oftentimes explains how it's pronounced.
Yes. I like caramel just because it sounds sultry when you say it like that.
It does. It really does.
And now I know how to make my own. So, might be something I do more of in the future.
There you go.
All right. Let's go ahead and get to your questions, folks. Hatman, where are we starting this week? Politics or entertainment?
Well, let me get a coin. There's a cat sitting on my coat, so I can't get my my coins out of there.
A cat and a
We'll go
sausage.
back. A cat. There's two cats. The sausage ran off, and I don't know where the third cat went, but yeah. And one of the cats is chasing his tail right now. But anyway, back to the old coin flip. Let's say heads is politics, tails is entertainment.
Yep.
Oh, well, I dropped it. So it's heads, so we're starting with politics.
All right. Well, there's not a lot of them, and one of them we actually answered on the thing. What are your opinions of the denominations of Christianity? And just to rehash it real quick, there's a reason I don't pick a denomination.
Yep.
Not a fan.
It's shit. There's actually a verse for it. I think it's in 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians 1 Corinthians 10 through 17. I'm not going to read it for you guys, but if you're ever interested, that basically sums up my view of denominations of the church.
There you go. So Crystal Hydra wants to know thoughts on the rampant abuse of power from the police during lockdowns. One officer was recorded saying the Constitution was suspended.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit, first and foremost. Second, it's not happening everywhere.
No, thank God.
Yeah, it's happening in some select few areas. And law enforcement all over the place, I know, like, has been caught on camera saying how frustrated they are. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess, and this lockdown needs to end. We have treatments. You know, the curve has been flattened and has been flattened for a couple of weeks now. You know, the only real problem area is New York, and that's because Cuomo's an idiot. And yeah, it's time to end it. It's time. Like here in Illinois, they're trying to act like they're not going to reopen the state until we have a vaccine, and it's going to be about a year before we see it. Even if the Israelis, theirs is 100% viable.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was an article that just went out today about how even if a vaccine went out, I think it said something like a third, at the very least, of Americans would not accept it. They would not get it, and I'd be among them. And my mom, who works in the biomedical field, and my dad, who's an EMT, have both said that they wouldn't either.
Why
because
wouldn't
you never know what's going to happen with the first round. Just because it passes through human trials doesn't mean it's going to be good across the board. There can always be errors made. The sample size could either be too small, or it's not indicative of a greater population, and it could make things worse.
Okay, you had me worried
So-
for a second. I'm like, are you about to go anti-vaxxers?
No, absolutely not. No, neither. None of my family are anti-vaxxers. No,
Okay.
but all of them are like, yeah, no. First round, no. Wait until it proves itself, and then we can talk.
Okay.
But it's probably going to be mandatory for them anyway, because one's a first responder and the other is literally working with COVID samples daily.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, there you go. But yeah, it needs to end. Like this is so fucking stupid. It makes no sense at this point.
yeah, they say it's probably going to have lasting economic damage too if we go any further, and without even then,
it's
like
at a
we
point
have to
where
have another
people
stimulus.
are suing the government.
Yeah,
Basically saying you don't have a right to do this, and the courts are saying,
Wisconsin's-
they don't have a right
yeah.
to do this.
Wisconsin Supreme Court just overturned the stay-at-home order.
Yep. And here in Illinois, they're suing the government too. I imagine the same thing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is that, I mean, you could go to work wearing a mask, and probably have half the concerns,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. All these people should not be out of work this long, because we're looking at the government's going to have to pass another stimulus, and it's looking like the checks are going to be even bigger this time. Which I'm actually against. I think that the amount last time was perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's just a very.
My concern too is how many jobs are people going to be able to go back to? Because you've heard countless stories of people who've lost their jobs because those businesses have shut down, or they weren't furloughed, they were straight fired.
Yeah.
Because they had to close down. So how many people are going to be able to get these jobs back?
Yep.
Or are going to be able to find a job? Like, is there going to be
I'm confident in it.
Hiring overflow? Like,
well, the thing is
know.
like there were a lot of businesses prior to this that still were trying to fill positions. So I have no doubt that we're going to spring back pretty quickly, but a lot of people are going to have to find new jobs, and that's going to suck, but they're going to be available, and companies are going to be begging to get people in.
Well, I'll say this too, and I know that I mentioned it when we talked about this way before, but these companies, big Fortune 500 companies that have manufacturing plants in China, need to pull the fuck out. Bring them back to America.
Yep.
You can deliver jobs that way.
Agreed.
Win, fucking win.
Yeah. But anyway, as it stands, I think that this will probably end up passing, because the House Democrats are in the process of writing it. I think that the amount is going to get knocked down, because they're saying like up to $6,000.
$3 trillion.
Yeah, up to $6,000 per family. I'm like, that's probably going to get lowered.
That's
like it's not.
It could be more than that too, because they said, or at least one of the things that was on the table, I don't remember if it was in the text of it or not. $2,000 for each individual over the age of 16, mind you. So this isn't just everyone who's paying taxes.
I think that got dropped, because this article I'm looking at from today, it doesn't mention it.
Okay.
So
yes, I know it was around yesterday, because I believe someone on Fox News was talking about it. Anyway,
no, it's here's what it is. Let me read this real quick, because this is from CNN. So these are the lefties talking. So if these are the lefties talking, they're gonna get what the Democrats say
first.
Yeah,
they're gonna get it first,
and it's gonna be exactly what's in the press release.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they're saying for giving $1,200 to those earning up to $75,000 a year, $2,400 to couples without dependents, and then $500 for each qualifying child.
So it's back to $1,200. It's not $2,000 a month anymore.
Yeah. That's what it's
Does it
looking
have
like.
a limitation on it? Because what I saw was it basically until a state's lockdown period would end.
Not that I see here.
Okay.
The but
Because if that's the case,
they're
that would
also
that
want.
would basically end up being UBI.
Here's the reason it's getting as big as it is. They want to do 200 billion to provide hazard pay to essential workers who remained on the job during the pandemic.
That I do agree with.
I think for government workers that's fine, but if you're not a government worker, then no. That's up to the company you work for.
Well, government workers being like EMTs and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would say absolutely.
That's fine.
Because there's at least, I don't know if I mentioned it, in our county, EMTs are not getting hazard pay, but firefighters and police officers are.
Yeah, that's bullshit. EMTs should be getting
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. But like part of it is like sending it to like state, local, and other governments. Fuck that. That's their responsibility. Mm-hmm. And then 75.
Don't bail out California for this.
Yeah, fuck
California
all.
Who claims they had a surplus.
Yeah,
they claim they had a surplus and suddenly they're out of money.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
That's bullshit. And then another 75 billion for coronavirus testing, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but that's expected. You know, yeah. I'm obviously a small government guy, but in the Constitution there is like measures for this. You know, in regards to government power.
Life. You are protecting life.
Yeah, they're not really going. It definitely like is a bailout. Let's be honest, but
yeah,
at the same time, hopefully it's the end. Fingers crossed. Yeah. But anyway, we need to move on to the next question. Swordsman 100 says, if God wills the destruction of hornets, why did he create them? Well, I'm sure that there's some sort of a purpose for them, but murder hornets are an invasive species. Mm-hmm. They're not supposed to be here. It's sort of like the American crayfish
to eat.
Yeah, it's sort of like the American crayfish in Britain. Britain is not big enough for those damn things. They're here for a reason. They're huge. They're delicious.
They are.
But
they are.
Like for those of you,
we call
like,
them crawfish. So.
if you live near a river where crawfish are common, all you have to do is
pick them up.
well, no, you buy a lobster trap. And you take a fish. It can even be thawed out meat if you want. Thawed out fish meat. And put it in the trap. And in the morning, it's going to be full of crawfish. Oh, yeah. And you got some eaten for a while.
We had a tiny little river that is more like a creek, really, flowed into a pond behind our house when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. We could go down there and just straight up pull crawfish out of there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was that many of them.
And when you set the traps like that, because they're nocturnal, they're buried under the mud. Mm-hmm. So they'll come out from under the mud overnight to get that food, and then they're going to be trapped. And then you just fucking boil the fuckers. Yep. And you got some food.
Yep. And you got a good stew, good gumbo. That's good stuff.
You could do it all just from the tail meat.
Yep.
Anyway, but yeah, the whole hornet thing is like they're an invasive species. Like they're not supposed to be here, so that's why we did exterminatus. Eclectic 1995 says, where do you see construction and architecture going in the future, like 20 to 50 years from now? I think there's going to be a lot of more focus on bringing in more natural light into buildings. And that's about it.
You're going to see a lot of glass, way more glass, I think. Glass, and I'm trying to think of what else. Glass and I guess cubes. everything is going to look like a skyscraper, a small skyscraper, or a concrete block, something like that. There's not going to be that much elegance to it. Like any kind of postmodern architecture that you see already looks fucking weird. But I think architecture really is going to be mostly limited to like important buildings and monuments and stuff. As far as like your main line, like what buildings are going to look like, they're going to be like glass houses. So don't throw any stones.
Indeed. All right.
On to fun stuff.
Yep, on to entertainment. So, Koopa's Revenge Home wants to know, what are your thoughts on Shang Tsung being a rep for Smash instead of the Ninja Boys? No.
No, don't like it.
Scorpion or Sub-Zero or bust.
Yeah, you'd have to be able to program in character swapping, and they already cut Zelda and Sheik into two characters, and they cut Samus and Zero Suit Samus into two characters because, yeah, character swapping like that is a pain in the ass. So no, you're not going to be able. He wouldn't have his signature power, so it wouldn't be Shang Tsung.
Yep. Sister Bex wants to know, what is my favorite well, I guess it's both of us. Have you ever like read or watched Fist of the North Star?
I've seen the movie. That's about it.
So he says, what is my favorite Nanto Ryuken from it? Do you mean Nanto Koha Ryu? Because Ryuken is the name of... he might be having his... Because there's a bunch of... or he might just mean the Nanto users. So, for those who don't know, Nanto... There are two main martial arts in Fist of the North Star. There's Hokuto no Ken, which is the art that, well, the four brothers of Hokuto use. So, so Ken, Rao, Toki, and, what is his name? Jaggy. And then, Nanto Rokusei Ken is the Nanto Seiken Masters. So Nanto Seiken is the martial art where you're cutting people to ribbons. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember all of them, but Souther, Ray, and Shin are among them. So there's a lot of people who use that. So, but of those, God, I think Ray might be my favorite user of it, just because he was the first one I was introduced to. Souther's a piece of shit. Shu is a cool character, but yeah, I'd have to say Ray.
Fair enough.
Ray's got such a tragic story too. So, Hatman, do you have one or no?
Not really, no.
There you go. Next question. Zachary Loggins wants to know, what are some good deconstruction stories in fiction? Well, Watchmen.
Mm-hmm. That's a not primary, but that's one of the easiest examples.
Yep. It's probably my favorite, to be honest with you.
You could argue that the Walking Dead comic is also a deconstruction of the zombie narrative.
Sort of.
arguably does a better job than The Last of Us.
I would say it does a considerably better job than The Last of Us. No, I don't really think The Last of Us, the first one, was a pretty good story, but it doesn't do anything that The Walking Dead wasn't already doing. Because the whole humans are the real bastards thing is just pulled from fucking Romero anyway.
Yeah.
So it's so overdone, and that's part of the reason why I was so hard on that article on Naughty Dog.
Hell, you could argue that Spider-Man, like the first Spider-Man stories, were a deconstruction of Golden Age superheroes.
It's a hard argument to make, though.
Considering the kind of heroes that were around at the time, who had godlike powers and everything just sort of fell into place for them, and instead you have a kid who basically wanted to use it to get all the glitz and glamour and glory, and then it backfires so hard on him. That kind of plays into, like, what are the real life consequences of having superpowers?
I don't know. I don't know if I agree on that, but yeah, definitely.
Like I said, you could argue it, but it's not like clear cut.
I would definitely suggest Watchmen. You know, because Alan Moore is like one of the few people that I really felt could do it well, because he wasn't trying to insult the original. He was just trying to examine it. You know, because he wrote part of the original. People forget he wrote one of the best pre-crisis Superman stories of all time, The Man Who Has Everything. A lot of people forget that that's him. You know, and then his Swamp Thing is fantastic. You know? So, yeah.
Oh shit.
What?
Fucking, if you want a good, mind you, deconstruction of Star Wars, the Thrawn trilogy.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you don't even have to have all of your expectations subverted for that either.
Oh yeah. So there you go. All right, next question. How would I write, and this is from Ultimate Agent, a heroic Jean-Paul Vallée? He's been written heroic before, though. He's not completely a psychopath. Look at the Azrael Solo series. So, yeah, he's been written heroic before. Eclectic 1995 wants to know, I've heard rumors that wokeness is on its way out of some of the big entertainment companies. If true, do you think the pandemic has had a hand in this?
No.
I think possibly.
No, I don't think it did. I think it was the string of failures that were the woke movies, and how, despite the fact that they had a lot of press coverage and a lot of positive reviews, they still ended up tanking at the box office. Even like big franchises. The last one was Birds of Prey.
Yeah, and then before that was Terminator.
Yep,
and a Terminator movie should not tank.
No, both of those ended up also doing very poorly on video on demand, especially Birds of Prey, which was released very early, and they expected it to do gangbusters. It was on sale about a week later.
Yep, and
it did not do well.
And like even Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah.
That was a that underperformed for Marvel. Yep. So they were not happy with that, from what I've heard. So yeah, I think the pandemic does have a little bit of a hand in it, but not really as much as you'd think. I think for comic books specifically, the fact that they are in a sad financial state that they shouldn't be in because of all the woke. It's like, you guys should be selling a lot more than what you're doing, you know? And, yeah. It's just one of those things where, I'm not, it was destined to happen, because here's the thing about Hollywood. And I know Razorfist does this video on, like, commies in Hollywood and all this other stuff. I'm not saying he's completely wrong. What I am saying is this, is that Hollywood sometimes will put ideology above profit until they don't. People in Hollywood are largely limousine liberals. They will tolerate the Reds to a point and give in to some of their things because they actually agree with them. But when they stop making the money that they want to make to get their Rolls Royces and their Cristal and all this other bullshit, they're going to start wanting to make money again. And I just wish they would be honest about the fact that they're really capitalists. So, it was destined to happen. You know, here's one thing I found funny. Mags Visaggio. Her comic that nobody bought got turned into a show on the Sci-Fi Network called, Vagrant Queen. And it got turned into a show that nobody watched. Yeah. Because Mags Visaggio is a very bad writer. And just giving somebody stuff just because they're trans is a bad idea. So, all right, let's go with the next question. Hardball Entertainment wants to know, Gina Carano's awesomeness in Mandalorian has me thinking, how about her in the DCEU as Big Barda? Also, who would you like as Orion, Mr. Miracle, and Highfather? And Judi Dench as Granny Goodness. I don't think Judi Dench would ever do Granny Goodness, unfortunately, but she would be a good pick for it.
She is probably not going to be acting much longer.
No. She's getting up there in age. But yeah, Gina would be a very good Big Barda. I think that, I think if Kirby were still alive, he'd probably pick her. But, don't fuck that character up. Ever. If you fuck that character up, old school comic fans will hate you forever. Because, for those who do not know, there's a story. So John Byrne, and I like John Byrne as a writer. John Byrne did a story in Superman about a new god called Sleaze that basically puts Barda and Superman into a trance and makes them record a porno with each other. Yeah. It was seen as super disrespectful. Why? Because Barda is based off of Jack Kirby's wife.
Mm-hmm.
So, do not fuck that up. Ever. People will hate you. It's the same reason why you cannot fuck up Ben Grimm. Because Ben Grimm is based on Jack Kirby. I mean, tough-talking Jewish guy from New York. I mean, come on. Which is why they should cast me as Ben Grimm. It would work. I mean, I'm huge. I've got the blue eyes, you know. I think I could play Aunt Petunia's blue-eyed nephew. But anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. What do you think, Hatman?
No, I don't think I can disagree with it.
She would also make a good She-Hulk too.
Yeah.
But the problem with She-Hulk, and she'd be a better Barda, because She-Hulk is, people got to keep in mind, She-Hulk is a transformation of Jennifer Walters. So, if you're going to do She-Hulk, you can't really not have like it based on Jen's looks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like She-Hulk would end up being kind of CG or something like that.
Yeah.
But
It wouldn't be like a
who would
big
we
transformation,
like? Yeah.
but it'd be a transformation no less.
Yeah. Who would we like as Orion, Mr. Miracle, and Highfather? Mr. Miracle. Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, really?
I'd like Daniel Craig as Scott-Free.
I don't know.
Watch the girl with the dragon tattoo. You'll see what I mean.
No, I know the girl with the dragon tattoo. I love that movie. That's the thing though. I don't know.
Not to mention, I think Gina's actually taller than Daniel in real life, so that's part of the reason. I didn't know this. Did you know that Big Barda in the comics is 7 feet tall?
No,
I
did
didn't either.
not know that.
And then somebody showed me a capture from one of the comics where Superman actually has to float to be eye level with her. That's kind of cool.
I don't really know. I was about to say, as far as like Granny Goodness goes, you could easily throw Kathy Bates into that role.
Oh yeah, Kathy Bates would be amazing as Granny Goodness.
Yeah, she'd kill it.
Highfather. Highfather's a tough one because everybody's gonna want to pick Anthony Hopkins, and I say don't because he was already Odin.
Oh, fuck. Well, no, he's dead now.
Who?
Oh shit. What's his last name? He played. God damn! I'm just losing all of the fucking names now. Hold on, let me go to the Google.
Well, let me put it this way. Here's what I would do with Highfather. One of two
Scott
people.
Wilson. That's who I'd pick.
Oh. Well, I was gonna say for Highfather, if you're okay with race swapping, James Earl Jones.
Interesting. Now, Scott Wilson, he was Herschel in Walking Dead, but he has since passed on.
Yes.
So.
Now, Hatman, pay attention. So James Earl Jones, if you're okay with race swapping, would be a really good Highfather. If not, then I would probably have to say, oh, what is his name? Who? Ian McDermott.
Ooh, that would actually be interesting.
Yeah, Ian McDermott would be a really good Highfather.
Emperor Palpatine is Highfather. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'd like to see him play a more heroic character. I think it'd be really cool.
Highfather, you'd almost have to have a classically trained actor for Highfather.
If he were still alive, Christopher Lee would be the best choice. But he's since passed away. Ian McKellen would be a good Highfather too.
He could probably pull it off.
Yeah. But too many people would make Gandalf comparisons.
Yeah, that's true.
But Orion, that's a tough one. Because you need a warrior. Orion. And you'd want somebody with a deep voice. The Hound. What's his name?
Roy McCann.
Yeah, him as Orion.
I would take it.
Now he'd be an amazing Orion. Because he'd have the physical presence.
I'd take it.
And for people who don't know, Orion is a huge human. Or, well, he's not even human at all, but he's huge. So, like, yeah, that'd be perfect. I'd love that. So there you go. That's our picks. Nick White wants to know, did we see the Xbox event? I saw part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Scorn looks really cool. I'm gonna pick that up day one. It looks like a really good horror game. It's very For those who do not know, I am actually a huge mark for H.R. Geiger or H.R. Giger. I love his art. Even the erotic stuff, I love it. It's phenomenal. It's horrifying, and that's why I love it. So you're giving me a game where the art is largely inspired by him? Sign me up. Everything else, wasn't really like entranced by, but it looked like a launch lineup. You know, every launch lineup like for Microsoft for every console has never been that strong. I can't think of a console ever launching that strong, ever. You know, not since like the N64. That was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think, Hatman?
I didn't really pay attention to it much. I didn't see it when it was live, and all the reactions afterward were like, "Oh, well, it's just trailers, it's not gameplay." And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't really care that much, to
Well,
be
the one
honest.
thing that
So,
everybody was expecting was more Halo Infinite, and there
yeah.
was none.
Oh no, you're not gonna get that until probably around like E3 time.
Yeah. Well, there is no
So,
E3 this year.
well, yes, but they're all doing events on their own around that time.
Yeah.
That's why I say E3 time.
Okay. Final question. Will Geary wants to know favorite spaceship designs in all media, ranging from fighter to capital ships. I'm
Capital ships would be the Covenant carriers. Those I love how sleek they are, but then like once you really start to get into them, like how they end up looking pretty complex.
for me, everything's gonna be from Star Wars.
Star Wars also had really good designs too.
Like, yeah, capital ships, the fucking Super Star Destroyer.
Oh, good God, yes.
Like, Jesus Christ, that's an amazing
I love
looking
how
ship.
I love how like deceptively simple it looks too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But
just
you
like a
get
big
close to them,
triangle,
they
and
look
then
like a
yeah,
giant floating city.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, they look awesome.
Which on the
Um,
interior they are.
yeah,
Um, and it's the same with like I love the design of the Millennium Falcon, the
hmm
Ebon Hawk,
hmm
like ships like that.
Outrider.
Yeah, the Outrider, Slave One.
hmm
Fuck man.
Slave One had a really unique design.
Yeah, like fighters, fucking X
hmm
Wings, X Wings and Y Wings. I love those
X
ships.
wings, Y wings, A wings, even the B wings look really unique.
Yeah, they're unique. They're dumb, but they're unique.
They are absolutely dumb. They're absolutely dumb. Fucking like for those of you who know what I'm about to talk about, you'll know instantly. Rebel Assault 2. The
Yes.
first fucking level of Rebel Assault 2, you're playing as a B-Wing. You cannot play it in third person. You have to switch to first person because you can't fucking see anything.
Yeah, it's
Because the
bad.
ship is so fucking stupid.
Oh yes, it's so terrible. I've always hated the B
Yeah.
wings, but they're unique, you
But
know.
yeah, they are unique. It's like I like the design, but it's dumb.
And then the Tie Fighter. The Tie Fighter is a great look.
TIE Fighter's iconic. Yep.
I love the Tie Interceptor.
Oh yes. Oh my god, yes. The TIE Bomber is just kind of meh because it's basically just a TIE Advanced with
Yeah,
extra parts.
yeah. It's a 2-man Tie Fighter. Like that's
Yeah.
really all it is. But no, the one thing I've always loved about the Empire is because their designs are so brutally efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again, they are supposed to be like Nazis in space. So that was Lucas's
Yeah, pretty
original
much.
design idea.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, there you go. Like, yes, I'm still a huge Star Wars mark. I'll always be a mark for the original films. Always. So. Well, that was the last question.
That's it.
Yes, that is it.
Wow. Okay.
Well, folks, we are going to go ahead and call it there. We're recording this on Wednesday. I actually have to stop and start a late night Micah show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually an hour late.
It's going on midnight my time, so that is definitely late night.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and take off. I'm gonna go ahead and get that show started. So, Hammond, any final words?
Yeah, this time I'm not doing a late night Hatman.
Yes. But we will see you guys soon. Dave's fault.